आप कैसे हो?
हम अच्छे हैं. हम अच्छे हैं.
So I'm very happy to see you.
Ki jai. Nitai Sasisuta ki jai. Shri Jagannath Baladev Srimati Subhadra ki jai. Bhagavad-gita ki jai. Sadhu Sangha ki jai. Rupamanandi. Swagatam Suswagatam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol, Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agyantimirandasya Gananjala Sharakaya. Shakshumilitam yena tashmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Karamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sa Shri Rupa Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Samjivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Shtanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagratpate Rupesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshvari Shavanu Sute Devi Panamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripasindhubhyevacha Titanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Adwaita Gadadha Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so we are in this wonderful chapter. What is it called, this chapter in Sanskrit? 9.2.
Yog.
Yes, Vignesh?
Bhakti Yog.
Bhakti Yoga. Yeah. Okay, you can hear? Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you.
Raja Vijaya Rajaguya Yoga. It's basically 9.2.
Yeah.
So it's oftentimes Srila Prabhupada said, obviously it's the middle of the Gita, so most confidential knowledge. We are in the middle of the sixth chapters are dealing with Bhakti. So obviously, middle of the 6, 9, then obviously it is the epitome, the sinus of the eyes, of the ear, I would say. So definitely, and now we're coming to the end of it. So Krishna has been very kind. He's giving us the Rasasa, the Gita Sar is there today. 934, 1865, the same verse practically, and the Gita Sar. Okay, you want to share a little bit? You must have been talking about demigod worship last time with Chandra Prabhu. So what did you glean? What did you retain?
Yeah. So basically, last time we basically discussed about different types of worshippers. Like Krishna compares the pure devotees to the impersonalist, then the demigod worshippers, and then again with the universal form Vishwarupa.
Yeah, 9:15.
Discussed on that. 11 to 19, and how to meditate upon the Vishwarupa form of the Lord. But then we just even got 2 or 3 more verses regarding demigod worshippers as well, from 20 to 23, comparing demigod worshippers with the devotees.
Okay.
How demigod worshippers neglect Krishna, who is like a proper object of worship, and instead worship the demigods. We discussed a bit on that last time.
Yeah.
And I think from 24, I think we are discussing today.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Vignesh. Do you want to add up anything, Goloka, Devidasi? Or you are on the page?
How I'm mute. Yeah, the only understanding I have, like I don't remember is like those who worship the demigod, as it goes, as it goes the planet as the demigods. And those who worship the demigod are less intelligent because Krishna is
Alpomeda, yeah.
less intelligent, and those, and if you worship Krishna, all your desires are fulfilled, just like worshiping the root of a tree. All the branches are satisfied. Similarly, the demigods or directors, are different, ministers of the Supreme Lord.
Yes.
You don't have to worship them separately.
Definitely. So there's a thin line. We should not worship them, but we should not disrespect them. One time, Buddhism Prabhu told us a story. Buddhism Prabhu opened basically way back in the 70s, Hong Kong, ISKCON Hong Kong. He opened ISKCON Manila, ISKCON Tokyo, I believe. So, he was extremely instrumental in the Far East in the early days. So he must have been in Manila or something, Indonesia. He was quite a lot in those regions. And one way or the other, he organized a pandal. I mean, not a pandal, but a discussion, a conference at the Shivala. In Mauritius, you find lots of Shivala, I guess in India also. Shivala means, place of worship of Lord Shiva. And okay, everything is all set. And then at the last minute, they canceled. So he told Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada was a bit annoyed. He said, did you tell him that not to worship Lord Shiva or something? So Buddhism said, no, Srila Prabhupada. No. But they want us to admit that Lord Shiva is God. Then Prabhupada said, then we won't go. So it's very interesting. He was going to get on the case of Buddhism Prabhu because he assumed that he had somewhat disrespected Lord Shiva. So that would have been wrong. But as soon as he got the reason for the cancellation, immediately he respected the tattva, the Krishna tattva. See? So we have to be very careful always not to disrespect the demigods. There's a verse in the 10th canto, 10:33, 19 perhaps, or 29. Shukdev is saying, and they have so much piety that they will burn all the so-called transgressions, moral transgressions. And we see they do, Indradev, Brahmadev even. So we should not be, Atmavan Manyati Jagat, we should not superimpose our pettiness on them. We have to be very, very careful with that. Oh, Indradev is just, he makes a fool of himself all the time. Be very careful. They have Vibhutimad Sattvat, agents, very powerful agents. Of course, you have 8 types of demigods, it's mentioned in the 8th canto, but especially the presiding deities, they're very powerful. The main ones, Vayu, Dev, and Brahma, obviously, and Indradev, and Agni Dev, Surya Dev, Chandra Dev, extremely powerful living entities. They live for 1 manvanta, can you imagine? 330 million years. But still, yes, Goloka?
33 million demigod we have. How many demigods?
We have 33 million, so it's about 3 crores, 0.3. Correct, Vignesh?
Right.
I think 33 million. It's a bit controversial. Sometimes I read 330 millions, and I've been reading 33 millions also. So there's one, there's 1 0 here. Is it?
Yeah, I think it is 30 million. I think that is what I heard.
33 million. So
in India, we call it 33 crore. Crore means
10 million.
Around 10 million.
So then, if what you're saying is correct, then it's 330 millions.
Yeah, because in Sanskrit, I think the word is koti. Koti means crore. That's how we translate.
Koti means, crore is 10 million, isn't it?
Yeah.
So 33 by 10 million, then it's 330 million.
Yeah.
So then as I say that, I could never put my finger on it. Is it 33 or 330? It's a lot. But still, when you look at 716, Sukritina, Shatu Vidaba Jante Mam Jana Sukito Arjuna, Ata Tishigesu, Genicha, Barata Shaba. It's interesting to note, are there demigod worshippers? 716? Are there demigod worshippers or not? 716. You can look it up.
I don't think so.
716. Remember the Sukritina. You should remember by heart this verse. I mean, it's like one of the key verses.
Yeah.
Like they are worshippers of Lord Krishna with various desires.
Very good. So don't fall into the trap. So they are better off, by far, better off. Even though they are secondary asta, I mean the first two at least, the Artha and Atharati, even the Jigyasu. Of course, Yeshu is much better. But Vishwanath, Chakravarti Thakur, even though they may be Sakam for the present, but they're going to become Nishkam. So they are much better off. They're much better off. Because the demigod worship we discussed many times, Avidi Purvakam, it's against Vidi, right? Alpo Medasa, endowed with small intelligence, 412. They quickly, of course, they want to attain their results. Quickly, of course. So they have an axe to grind, as we say. And that was my first question, by the way. Let's hear 24. 924. Go ahead.
924. Okay. I am the enjoyer and the only object of sacrifice. Those who do not recognize my true nature fall down.
Yeah, exactly. So my question was pertaining to 24. Basically, when we have material desires, we have the choice. What are the two choices? The two choices.
I think the choices are either we keep on worshipping Krishna, or we just become, we're not believer, that we have to worship Krishna.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm thinking of then. Okay, if we consider your two choices, then I'm going to add one up. I'm going to add one up. You can worship demigods. 412. And those who are endowed with material desires, quickly, of course, they worship demigods because they want a quick result. But which is better off out of the three options? Full-fledged materialist, you don't care about any spirituality, you just try to fulfill your material desires in a vikarmic manner, don't care about the consequences. Number one. Number two, demigod worships, you try to fulfill them as much better off through the Vedic way, Vedic paradigm, demigod worship. Even better, way better would be, Vignesh mentioned it in his answer.
Those who worship Lord Krishna with material desires, they are better compared to demigod worshippers.
Yeah, and you quoted the verse, I believe. Akama savakama moksha kama udaradi tivena bhakti yogena yachitam purusham param. So see, this is a good example, Goloka, of your answer is there, but it's not fully complete. You got it? If you had quoted 2, 3, 10, I think it's in the purport even of 24. Well, Prabhupada paraphrased it. It doesn't, you're right, it doesn't really quote it, but he paraphrased it at the very end. Anyone who has any material desire to be fulfilled, he better pray for it to Lord Vishnu himself. This is basically 2-3-10. So this is an example of Goloka. Sometimes you get less marks because of this. If you have this kind of closed book, you have to be specific. Doesn't mean you have to be lengthy, like 5 pages, just try to ramble on and no. Closed book means sharp, this is the answer. And then sometimes I may say why, so then you have to basically back up your point with Shastra. But what's expected in the closed book is sharp, crispy answer. Okay, so is it clear? 24? That's not a big, it's not rocket science. So, but they fall down. They fall down. If they don't accept, basically it rings a bell with 912. Remember? Mogasha Muga Kamana, Muga Gyan Shitashaha, Rakshasim Asurim Shiva, Prakritim Mohinim Shitaha. Yeah. They fall down because all their aspirations for fruitive desires, their aspiration for knowledge, their aspiration for mukti, it's all baffled. And Prakritim Mohinim Shritaha. It's interesting. Prakritim Mohinim Shritaha means they take shelter in the feminine nature. They take shelter of Prakriti, naturally, but it means also they tend to be sense enjoyer, womanizer. Okay, 9, 12, 25. Let's go for 25.
Yes. 25.
Yeah.
Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors will go to the ancestors. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me.
Yeah, so this verse is extremely quoted by Srila Prabhupada. The ticket analogy. If you take a ticket for London, you're not going to Mumbai, you're going to London. Right? Even my son can understand this. So it's very clear, very clear. This verse is extremely quoted by Srila Prabhupada. It's up to you, up to the worshipper. Where do you want to go? Then my question was, obviously 25 is a clue for the rest of the chapter. And it defeats a famous Mayavad saying. Yes, you're right. So please, what is it? You guys answered quite aptly, I have to say. So look at what did she say? Yeah, basically you are paraphrasing 25. And then you kind of paraphrase 10.232. This is Bhagavatam 10.232. They will fall down. The impersonalists will fall down. Patanchadaha, Yashmat Angrayaha, Patanchadaha, because they haven't clasped the lotus feet of the Lord, they will, Patanchadaha, they will fall down. Even though Ayura Krishna, they are engaged into severe austerities, but still, they will fall down. So what is it? What is that thing that 25 gives a big clue of? And that's going to be outlined for the rest of the chapter. And what is that quote? I was trying to make it appear on your lips. That quote, very famous quote. It's in a Hindi quote, I think. Yatomat Tatopat. You know that quote, Vignesh? And
Yeah.
in India, you hear it all the time. Yatomat Tatopat. What's the meaning?
As many conceptions, so many paths are there.
In French, you say, tous les sentiers mènent à Rome. All the paths lead to Rome.
Do the same.
This is foolishness. Rome used to be, Rome at one point during the Roman Empire used to be the capital of the world. Like Paris is about 2,300 years old. Rome is 28. It's a very old city. For Europe. I know for India it's nothing. But so all the paths lead to Rome. What kind of nonsense is this? It's defeated by 25. Totally defeated. And of course, Vignesh gives a big layer here.
I'm not sure. I think I rambled on there. I'm not sure whether I'm correct.
No, you're always on the point anyway. Then you quote 933, temporary asukam, anityam sukam lokam. Yes, it's you quote that. It's anityam, definitely. It's amrisha. Right? Vyasadeva explained in 111. It's amrisha. Very interesting in 111. He doesn't say it's false. It doesn't say it's real. It says amrisha. What's the meaning of amrisha? 111. How does it go?
Sure. Energy of the Lord?
Amrisha means almost real. I'll quote the verse, not the full verse. It's quite lengthy. Read it. What is it? Tejo variminam yata. Tejo variminam yata. Vinimayo yatra tisago mrisha. 111. So amrisha means almost real. In what sense it is almost real? It's not Brahman Satyam Jagan Nitya. That would be Mayavad. Everything is false. That would be Mayavad. If Vyasadeva had said it's false, it's Mayavad, full Mayavad. If he had said it's real, it would have been materialistic. So what did he say? Amrisha. Almost real. It's one of the BV questions when I teach BV. This is one of my questions. I ask them 111. Why does he say Amrisha? Almost real. In Sanskrit is very precise. Amrisha. Goloka, any clue? What does he say? Of course, it's not fully 925, I know, but Vignesh put me on the track. So basically, because it's a reflection. A reflection is not false. A reflection is not unreal. It's not real. It's the reflection of a reality which is elsewhere. You follow?
Yeah.
That is why Vyasadeva purposefully said Amrisha, almost real. In other words, you look at an apple tree reflected on the pool of water near your house. You want to partake of the apple. You cannot enjoy the apple because it's a reflection. It's not false, but it indicates where is the reality. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur used to say, this material world is the dictionary of the spiritual world. If you analyze this material world through the light of Vedic Shastra, especially Gaudiya, Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, Gita, you can understand the definition of the spiritual world. So Amrisha. So what is this specific topic as discussed in the rest of the chapter 9? That was my question number 2. So you just look at your answer. Your answer are perfect. Huh? You and Goloka, they're perfect. You should just read out. You don't have them under your eyes. And Krishna, Vignesh said, Krishna and the subsequent verses will be contrasting the eternal temporary nature of this world attained by worshipping Krishna and worshipping them through the demigod worship. It's perfect. You just have to mention that. See, this is, it's good that we focus on this because especially you, Golokai, if you want to get good marks, you answer crispy and sharply. That's it. you know. Okay, 25, 26, 26. You can read out, huh? Anyone? It's an important verse. You have to learn it by heart, I believe.
Oh, 26. Okay, sorry. Okay. If one offer me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruits, or water, I will accept it.
Yeah. So my question was, is it better off than, first of all, before I get to that, what's the analogy in 26 regarding his absolute nature? Goloka found it, Vignesh. You didn't find it. Goloka did. So you answer Goloka then. You did a good job there. Very good. 26. What's the analogy? Srila Prabhupada, it compares two things. I think you say simile in English, you say simile, or metaphor, or analogy, I guess. You answered totally 100%, Goloka. What is the analogy in 26 in regard to his absolute nature? Srila Prabhupada equates two transcendental examples. Amazing, you already forgot the answer.
Oh, whom are you asking?
Because I'm asking you because Vignesh didn't make it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He
Purpose
didn't understand.
just like he impregnates living entities into the material world by this is done by his looking upon material nature. So in this instance, Krishna's hearing the devotee's words of love is offering footstep is wholly identical with his eating and actually tasting. Krishna has interchangeable senses. One sense can perform the function of any other. Simply by his glance of a footstep offered to him with devotion, he tasted the offering and became the mercy of Krishna.
You get the point, Vignesh?
Yeah, I was confused with the word analogy because I read that, but I was not able to connect whether it's analogy or not.
Because see, Angani Yasya Sakalendri Avriti Manti, Brahma Samhita, he can perform any function through any one of his organs, irrespective. So she got it right. He impregnates Pradhan through his eyes, which for human being, we don't do that. We use something else. He impregnates the jeeves into the Pradhan, okay? That's Anganiyasya. Then again, he eats through the words of love of the devotees. Ashnami prayatat manaha. Ashnami means he eats. You follow? Prabhupada has one exchange with Arya Samaj. Do you know these guys?
Yeah. Actually, my previously my in-laws, they were Arya Samaj. Then they now they are Vaishnava.
Wow. You did a good job.
Yeah.
Not easy, those guys.
Now everybody is Vaishnava. They just change.
Yeah, they're not easy people, huh? Telling you. I used to meet them in Mauritius. They are mostly girls, mostly ladies. So Prabhupada, listen to that, it's quite funny. I found a quote here. Let me find it for you. Yes, New York 66, way back. One of the members of Arya Samaj said, as Arya Samaj, they don't like the temple so much, worship and all. Swamiji, do you think God eats? Yes. He says, Ashnami, 926, Ashnami. Who are you to say that he doesn't eat? Who are you? You say God doesn't eat, but God says, Ashnami, I eat. So whom should I believe? A loafer like you or Krishna? Prabhupada is heavy. In 66, New York. See? He eats, mentioned twice in 926, Bhakti. So who is higher, 26 or 27? Why?
Because in 26, Krishna is basically talking about the like offering in a selfless manner. Maybe call it Shuddha Bhakti or Kevala Bhakti.
Yes.
Generally what happens is that if you see like especially some smartas, they do a particular action, they do particular activity and then selectively they offer that to Lord after doing the activity. But Krishna says it's not just about doing activity and then offering it to me, it's about constantly doing everything as service to me, right at the beginning of the any activity and even at the end of any activity. It's throughout we should have that selfless attitude, which
Exactly.
is important for Shuddha Bhakti.
Exactly. You got it, Goloka?
Yeah.
So Burijan added up to that. He asked us, remember way back, what's the difference between Kama Yoga and Bhakti Yoga? In that light, just like Vignesh mentioned, but he kind of developed it a bit further. And he was referring to 926 and 927, basically. Difference between Kama Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. 927 is the epitome of Kama Yoga. In the Gita, this is the verse per excellence for Kama Yoga, Nishkam Kama Yoga. Okay, so let's try to tackle it. What's the difference between 926, 927 in terms of difference between Kama Yoga and Bhakti Yoga? In one word or two.
Karma Yoga is that you offer everything to Krishna with the expectation or something. It's not like pure bhakti.
Yeah.
Bhakti yoga, I mean, you offer everything and you just to satisfy Krishna.
Yeah, definitely. That's quite good. Quite good. In the notion in Kama Yoga, there's still a notion of doership. You follow? Doership. I'm the doer, Krishna, and I'm giving $5 million. That's a lot. Okay, that's great. Wonderful. 927. Mother Panam. But there's still a notion of doership. That's mine. That's my millions, Krishna. I'm giving them to you. That's illusion because everything belongs to Krishna. And apparently, for an outsider, the Bhakti Yogi doesn't give nothing. Well, who is he? He doesn't give nothing. He has given his life. He has given his mind, his body, his intellect, his love, like you said, Goloka. So by far, he's higher. You follow? And this is the difference. There's still a notion of doership here. So Bhakti is the appetizer because we could philosophize and say, well, Krishna doesn't need to eat, which is true. He's got no veins. We have seen in the Sri Show 8. He's got no veins. He's Atmakam. But Bhakti is the appetizer. It's going to whet his appetite. He's Purna, he's self-satisfied. But someone offers with love. Remember the story with Vidu and his wife? They invited Lord Krishna. Remember?
Yeah.
He was eating the pills. There was so much in Bhav. They could not even fathom. They could not even, act properly due to ecstatic love. Actually, they are throwing the bananas, offering the pills. Krishna is taking because he knows it's in the heart. Antaryami, he knows they have love. Whatever. Aham Bhakta Paradino. And Duryodhana offered him a nice feast, first class. Did he go? Not even did he go. He didn't even go. So this is definitely 26, one of the key verses of the Gita. It's basically there's a few verses in the Gita acknowledging pure bhakti, Ananya bhakti. There's a few in 9 chapter 14, 22, 26. So it's very simple. Anyone, even a pauper, can very easy. Susukam kartum avyayam. So anyone can induce Krishna to accept if he's got love. So it's not a question of money, of Nayamatma Pravachanina Labyo Nabedaya Nabahuna Shrutena. It's not a matter of cerebral brain power, mind, even lots of hearing. No, not even. Krishna will reveal himself, Tatalum Swam, his own form, to whoever he condescends to. But specifically, Bhaktimama Bijanati, someone who has bhakti. So that my point was there, bhakti is never causal. What's the meaning of that? That was another question, I believe. Causal.
Yes.
Did I mention that? I think I did. Huh?
Yeah,
I like
question number 3.
Yeah, so what is it then?
I have written that bhakti has no external cause or any material cause. Like as you mentioned, now I'm Atma Pravachan and Labhyo. Like we cannot have any scholarship, and because of that we'll get bhakti, or we cannot have speak very eloquently and we will be very rich, or any whatever philanthropy will also not help to get the bhakti. In this connection, later, like in no punya karma can give us bhakti. So bhakti is given as an aspect of bhakti itself. Like I mentioned, bhakti is given through devotees, like sadhu sangha that we do.
Yeah, Madhyam.
Through them, we normally get interest or taste in bhakti, and that's how we proceed further. And since bhakti, sadhu sangha is like intrinsic part of the bhakti itself, as one of the limb. So it is not considered external to the bhakti. So bhakti itself is a cause of bhakti.
Definitely. And someone could go further. It's mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that what is the cause of bhakti being bestowed on this one and not that one? Because it's causeless. Bhakti is totally causeless and svarat. And of course, you may say, well, he's got some previous antecedent. He has practiced something. So he may have some rati from the previous lives. That's true. That helps, definitely. But bhakti is causeless. It's totally causeless. It's even beyond the Lord. Bhakti is independent. And of course, Bhakti Devi is Tulsi. And of course, Ekadashi also is mother of Bhakti. So they are expansions of Srimati Radharani. Ultimately, Hare Krishna, we don't say Krishna Hare, we say Hare. We go through her. So she decides, basically. And if she presents one candidate to Lord Krishna, how can he refuse? We are introduced by Srimati Radharani. We're introduced by Bhakti Devi, by Tulsi Devi, by Ekadashi Devi. So this mass, this Purushottam mass, it's even higher than Kartik. It occurs every 3 years or so. It's very high, extremely high entity. She has been blessed by Lord Krishna. So let's turn to the liberty verse. Do you know in the Bhagavatam there's one verse I call the liberty verse, the freedom verse. Do you know this verse? It's in the story of Narad telling his life story to Vyasadeva, first canto, 1637. Very interesting, you're going to see. People oftentimes fall from high with this verse, even devotees. So we are in the portion, Sutta Goswami is explaining that Narad is addressing his disciple Vyas. He took leave of him and he left to wander. Because remember, he had to not convince because Vyas was already convinced. Yes, I'm feeling a bit despondent because I haven't glorified Krishna enough. And then Lord Narad appears on the scene, corroborates, yes, you're right, do so now. So then he's going to write, he had already given somewhat a synopsis of Bhagavatam. It's called Bhagavad Puran, but now he's going to work back on it and he's going to make it Srimad Bhagavatam. It's mentioned in 173, I believe. He had already somewhat given the shape to Srimad Bhagavatam, but that was not completed. After he had this interview with his guru, then definitely he's going to go back to it and finish it off. And it's going to become the greatest Puran, the greatest Bhagavatam, ripened fruit, Nigama Kalpataro. So 1637 is living. Remember, Narad is transcendental astronaut. Listen to the purport, not the full purport. We can just imagine the extent and unlimitedness of his freedom, talking about Narad, which is as good as that of the Supreme Lord. There is no reason or obligation for his traveling. No one can stop him from his free movement. Similarly, the transcendental system of devotional service is also free. See? It may or may not develop in a particular person even after he undergoes all the detailed formulas. Follow? It may or may not develop in a particular person even after he undergoes all the detailed formulas. Similarly, the association of the devotee is also free. One may be fortunate to have it, or one may not have it, even after thousands of endeavors. Okay? Therefore, in all spheres of devotional service, freedom is the main pivot, whatever. Without freedom, there is no execution of devotional service. The freedom surrendered to the Lord doesn't mean that the devotee becomes dependent in every respect. To surrender unto the Lord through the transparent medium of the spiritual master is to attain complete freedom of life. So what do you say about that?
Oh, yeah, I don't understand. It said freedom surrendered that doesn't mean that the devotee become dependent in every respect. So what?
Very interesting purport, I'm telling you. This purport is
What does that
Mahadeep.
mean?
It means, you want to answer, Vignesh?
No, you can shed light on that. I'm
okay.
not very sure.
So it's very interesting. First, let's deal with her question. It means people are always saying that, oh, you guys are totally in a cult, you're brainwashed, you cannot think for yourself, blah, blah, blah. No, Prabhupada is totally flattening this argument. The freedom surrendered to the Lord doesn't mean that the devotee becomes dependent in every respect. In other words, it doesn't mean you are fully surrendered to the Lord that you're going to lose your initiative, your free will. You understand? More you are surrendered, more Krishna is going to give you carte blanche. That's French. Carte blanche means you have full power. Take the example of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada has proven himself to Krishna, didn't he, over his life? At the fag end of his life, Krishna gave him carte blanche. Means, I give you full trust, Srila Prabhupada. You do as you wish. You have what is your kshetra? Your kshetra is planet Earth. So he's dependent on the Lord. Yes, he's pure devotee, but he has his own initiative, his own free will to act as he wishes. You follow, Guluka?
Yeah.
If Prabhupada has so much won over Lord Krishna that he could use anything and still Krishna will never find fault with him. You know, Prabhupada took in Africa, one time he took some drug money. Some devotee gave him $1 lakh. It was drug money. So an ordinary living entity, even an ordinary guru, he said, no, it's totally Maya. Prabhupada took it and he used it in Krishna consciousness. But he told the devotee, not again. So you know what I'm saying? He has the prerogative to do as he wish, basically. But because he sold out to Lord Krishna. You know, so he doesn't have to be accountable for each and every of his every move. Because overall, he has won over Lord Krishna. So Lord Krishna has given him full, just like I'm giving you my credit card. Do it, use it as you wish, Goloka. I'm giving you your credit card, my credit card. It's yours. So Lord Krishna did that. You follow?
Mm.
It doesn't mean he's not surrendered. He's totally, he's so surrendered that he has carte blanche. Lord Krishna say, okay, I trust you. It's your couple. It's your baby now. You do it. I give you planet Earth. In that sense, people are thinking the other way around. Oh, you are in a cult, you are brainwashed. More you are Krishna conscious, more the spectrum of possibilities open up. In other words, more you are Krishna conscious, more your free will spectrum widens. Less Krishna conscious you are, less your spectrum of free will diminishes. Take a non-devotee. What is the spectrum of free will? Maya A, Maya B, or Maya C? It's all Maya. Understand? So more you become Krishna conscious, more your spectrum opens up. You understand?
So ultimately, it's like using of free will. Like that is something which only we can do. No one can force us, not even Krishna.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And more we are becoming Krishna conscious, more of free will become magnified to the extent that you may get a planet. Prabhupada got a planet. What is your kshetra? Oh, I work here in New Mayapur. I do this. What is your kshetra? What is your service? Well, I've got a planet. This is the answer of Prabhupada. What did you do for Krishna? Well, I converted one planet. Oh, okay. Please come in. So, this is big. This is big. The kshetra of Prabhupada is not one continent, one temple. It's one planet.
Planet Earth.
This is planet Earth. So you can imagine the magnitude of his free will. The magnitude of his kshetra. Right? Why? Because he has conquered Lord Krishna. We know that. So Krishna is giving him full power, carte blanche. But what I was trying to stress here in this verse 1637, I don't know if you noticed, the transcendental system of devotional service is also free. It may or may not develop in a particular person even after he undergoes all the detailed formulas. See? You cannot say, well, now it's due to me. Never. You may be practicing properly, even. You cannot say, well, it's bound to happen. This is an illusion. Bhakti is never causal. You cannot never say, I purchase Bhakti by my deen, by my devotional service, by my tapodivyam putraka yena sadvam shudyet, brahmasukam twanantam. You cannot force, you cannot gate crash yourself in the world of Bhakti out of your own accord. It's just like if you go to the theater, you purchase your ticket, you have your seat, you are seated, you're waiting. Everything is there. You have the good ID card, you bought a ticket, you got your seat. What's missing?
The movie.
The movie, even before, so the curtain is still there. The curtain, I'm not talking about movie because theater, there's a curtain. Unless and until someone opens the curtain, you're not going to see your play. They may say, well, sorry, sir, it's canceled. Please take your money back. Go home. Then? So even you may have all the detailed formulas done, you have it, Still, curtain has to open. That's why Mother Kunti, she says, you are like a transcendental actor. And you are covered by the curtain of Maya. No one knows me. Krishna 725. No one. Everyone, I know everyone. No one knows me. So unless Bhakti reveals, actually Bhakti means ultimately Shrimati Radharani. Unless she reveals Krishna through agents, gopis, Bhakti Devi, Tulsi, Ekadashi, Yogamaya, etc. It's like that. So be aware of this purport, 1637. Always remember, this is the liberty purport. Then he goes, one may be very he goes, similarly, the association of the devotees is also free. One may be fortunate to have it, or one may not have it, even after thousands of endeavors. Very loaded sentence. It's not due to you. It's mercy, it's total mercy. People come to the temple, they don't click, they don't register. There's benefit, definitely. And the others, he goes and he has understood, it's opened up for him. He can see, he's got there's something, he cannot even put his finger on it, but I've been touched by the grace, a little grace even. He comes back and becomes devotee. The other fellow, he was with him even, same day, same moment. He went through the same experience, didn't click, didn't get the message. It's not due, nothing is due. It's always coming from that side, from Krishna's side, the grace. Krishna is transcendental autocrat. So unless and until he's being revealed by obviously Srimati Radharani and Guru is also representative of Balaram or Srimati Radharani. Madhyam, then Madhyam Adhikari, preaching, giving prasad, giving books. It's like that. Okay, let's move on. And if you want to add up anything, Vignesh or Goloka.
Yeah, I was just thinking of one thing, like, I think it's all about the mood of the devotee. Like generally what I've seen is, if a devotee is not very mature, he may think that bhakti is my right, or there's something is due to me.
Exactly.
But if a devotee is very advanced, then generally, because of his humility, he never thinks that it is due to me. He thinks that I don't have bhakti. That is the mood, and because of which he automatically gets the mercy of the Lord.
Exactly. Remember the song of Srinivasacharya? Nana Shastra Vicharane Kanipuno Sadharma Samstha. In that particular song, way down below, it says, "Where are you, Krishna? I'm searching for you. Where are you in Keshigat? Are you on the banks of Yamuna?" Never it's written, "I found you, Krishna." That's it. No, they are Goswamis. They are Manjaris. They're Manjaris. Yeah. Have you seen the Goswamis? Yes, I have found it. That's it. Never. There's always Virahaba, always pleading Krishna, Srimati Radharani, please, can I be a little bit, can I have a little glimpse? Just a glimpse. I want to serve. Lila Sfurti. No, they're never asking, they're never in the mood of, yes, I got it now. Finally. It was worthwhile waiting. No, they're always in the mood, even though they have Krishna in the heart. We know that. They are manjaris. They are close associates of Mahaprabhu. How can you be closer to that than that? Okay, so let's move on. Where are we? 27, we didn't touch. 27, let's go ahead.
27. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me.
Yeah, so very important verse. This is high. Basically, it's called, of course, technically, Vishwanath calls that Pradhana Bhuta Bhakti. You understand this term? Vignesh may understand. There is different types of bhakti here. There's Guna Bhuta Bhakti, that's one. There is Pradhana Bhuta Bhakti, and then it's called Ananya Bhakti, we know, Keval Bhakti. Pure Bhakti, basically. But here we're talking about Pradhana Bhuta Bhakti. What does it mean? Anyone knows? I guess, Vignesh, you know that. You are familiar with the commentaries. Pradhana Bhuta Bhakti means Bhakti is there, but in the forefront of your life. It may not be Keval, like 26, okay. But it's Pradhana Bhuta Bhakti. Your Bhakti is has got the main position in your life. Bhakti is not on the back burner. Guna Bhuta Bhakti would be, yes, Bhakti is on the back burner. That is why sometimes you find conflicts with devotees, because one may be Guna Bhuta Bhakta. So Bhakti is a practicing devotee, but Bhakti is a bit remote, in his life. He has mixed up many things, and Bhakti tends to be on the back burner of his life. And the other fellow is Pradhana Bhuta Bhakta. So he may not be on the level of Ananya Bhakta, yes, okay, but Bhakti is on the forefront of his life. You follow? So whatever he does, this is Madhapanam as an offering. It's not just prescribed duties, be careful here. It's not prescribed duties. It's all his acts. Yad Karoshi, Yad Ashnashi, Yad Joshi, Yad Dasiyat, whatever you do, you eat, give away. So there is a strong yoga. Yoga means connection. Very strong yoga connection of a high caliber connection. So Prabhupada is saying, okay, whatever you do, my dear son, never mind, you do it for Krishna. This is Kama Yoga. This is high flow. This is high level Kama Yoga. You follow?
Mm.
So basically Pradhana Bhuta Bhakti here, high level Kama Yoga. You want to add up anything? Anyone?
I just want to ask one thing, like often we say that we quote the verse of Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam to say that Krishna only wants vegetarian foodstuffs to be offered to him.
Yes.
And Prabhupada also quotes this, Krishna never says offer meat to him, because he just says offer Patra Pushpam Phalam Toyam. But then Krishna again here says, Yat Kurusva Yat Ashnasya, whatever you do, whatever you eat, offer it to me. So if someone can logically say that, okay, I'm then offering meat, what is the problem? So how should we answer that?
Yeah. Okay. So then you go into chapter 14 and 17. You tell him, look, okay, I got you. But see, it's written right here that food in the mode of ignorance are those who are overcooked more than 3-4 hours. They are basically, they are smelly food. So do you want to offer? Obviously, meat, fish, eggs fall into that category of tamagun food type of food stuff. You want to offer this, or do you want to offer fresh food, delicious, juicy? Obviously, you want to offer at least more food in the mode of goodness to Lord Krishna. Why, if Krishna wanted meat and fish, etc., would he decry those foods later down the road, chapter 14 and 17, as food in the mode of ignorance? That's what I would say, Vignesh. You want to say anything, Goloka?
I'm just thinking, if you love somebody, you offer them the best thing, like you said.
Yeah.
If you love Krishna, bhakti, pure bhakti, like Krishna would be pleased only when you offer him not the food in the mode of ignorance, like you said,
Yeah, how can you have blood in your plate, my dear sir, and talk about God, about love of God? It's nonsense. It's a nonsensical proposition. You want me to kill another brother, sister, and then I'm going to offer it to God just to rationalize that I'm doing what I'm doing. Then offer to Badrakali. Finish. In Calcutta, you see the butchers, these rascals I've seen. I was 10 years in Mayapur. They don't even look. I've seen these windows. They take the meat, they throw like this, not even look back on the scale to show the customer, oh, I'm offering. Like this, he goes. Can you imagine? I've seen. He offered the meat like this, and it goes on the scale behind, and he gives the weight and the money, please pay. And it's offered. Well, people are so foolish.
Yeah. I've seen, like, when I was growing up, in the neighbor, there's some people worship Kali. They take a goat, how they chop the,
I received a video. I mean, it's very interesting. You see kids from the whole world, and their parents are about to slit the throat of an animal in front of the goat. The kid is holding down to the goat. No, please. There are Muslim kids or mostly Muslim kids all over the world. They have to make a video. You start crying if you look at this video. I'm telling you. The kids, they're trying to snatch the knife from the father. No, my father is born goat like this. They're rascal. And they're trying to snatch the kid away so they can kill the goat. The kids know better, know much better. They're 5-year-old kids. They're rascals. Big rascals. 28.
In this way, you will be freed from all reactions to good and evil deeds. By this principle of renunciation, you'll be liberated and come to me.
Yeah. So here, what are we talking about here? 28. What is it all about? There was a question here to describe a bit 28. So what do you want to say?
By Krishna earlier described about various kind of worshippers like impersonalist and even demigod worshippers. But now that he's talking about worship to himself, now he's specially using the word like vimukti, which is a kind of not an impersonal mukti, but a very special type of mukti, which he can directly attain the service of Krishna and not just stuck at the Brahma Jyoti, like what impersonalists obtain. So this is what I understood is a special type of mukti that we can achieve by serving Krishna directly through pure bhakti yoga.
Yes, exactly. Vimukti, Vishesh Mukti. Vimukti means Vishesh Mukti. Very special. It's basically a Vaishnava Mukti. Mukti Vandatan Rupam Svarupana Vyavastiti 210.6. This is Mukti. Once you are freed of your gross body, physical body, plus the Linga Sharir, the subtle body, mind, intelligence, ego. Once you are freed from both gross and subtle, what's left? The soul proper. Jivara Svarupoi, Krishnara Jidas, Krishnara Nitya Nitya Beda Beda Prakash. So this is Vimukti. Once you are back on the soul level, you serve Krishna. No need of gross, no need even of subtle body anymore. It has been absorbed, just like your food you intake, it's digested by the stomach. So the same way, the gross body, the soul body is digested. It becomes diluted. It's gone. Only the soul proper is gone, is left. Jivan Mukta. So 28, basically, it's a result of high Nishkam Kama Yoga, as described in 27. And it says mamupeshyasi. This is an important term here. Future tense. See? Mamupeshyasi. What's the meaning? Vimukto mamupeshyasi.
Welcome to me.
Will attain.
Yes.
Attain me.
Yes. So we are talking about those liberations. What are those 4 or 5? I think 4. Salokya Mukti, Sarupya Mukti, Samipya, Sarashti. These are Vaishnava liberation. Okay, you may say, well, Sat Canto explained that even a pure devotee refuses those 4. Yes, granted. But still, to access to Vimukti is pretty high. So not only they become liberated, they achieve Vimukti. Exceptional. Vishwanath says it's Vishishta, exceptional. They come within my proximity. That is why Vishwanath says, I always go back to 716, Sukritina, because even though they are Sakam, oftentimes Sakam Grihastha, at least, not the Gyani, of course, he's a sannyas, but Sakam Grihastha, they are maybe Sakam, yes, they become Nishkam, and in the long, long run, Vishwanath explained they get Salokya Mukti. long run. You get Salokya Mukti. It's called Gyan Aishvarya type of Salokya Mukti, they get opulence and sukh, a lot of sukh, transcendental pleasure. They go to Vaikuntha. So, yes, it's way beyond Varnashram Dharma. It's no more, don't confuse prescribed duties here. Just like 27, it's not prescribed duties. All the actions are offered, Madhavanam. But of course, Srila Prabhupada tends to always be one step up of Lord Krishna. He's laying it out here in 28 as pure bhakti, basically. He goes, someone who's fully engaged in Krishna, He may be appearing, it may appear that it follows prescribed duties, but actually it's not so. He's doing act loaded with attention for Krishna, with affection, and ideally with prem. Is it clear?
You mentioned that about Nishkam Karma Yoga, right? For this verse.
Yeah.
What is the difference? Krishna, they will also attain Krishna in pure bhakti. Yogis will also attain Krishna's. And what is the difference? Why are we not saying it is pure bhakti?
Well, because obviously 28 is the result of 27, So obviously it's not as high as 26 because 28 is a continuation of 27. And it says, remember the future tense, Mamupeshya says future. They're not there yet. You follow? 26, they're there. Assuming it's a pure devotee. You may be offering a fruit or you may be offering a salad in your house and you follow 26, but you're not a pure devotee yourself. But in 26, Lord Krishna he mentions twice bhakti. Ashnami, Prayatatmanaha, Bhakti Uparitam. So he obviously delineates a pure devotee here. 28, you will attain. It's future tense. You're not there yet, but you're getting there.
Pure bhakti is like kind of a Jivan Mukta kind of thing. Like he's already liberated while living in the material world itself. Like it's not like he has to attain, it's already attained, like in a way. It's like
Yeah, Jivan
Mukta.
Mukta means you're already liberated. And of course, I don't know if you remember Gogovind Maharaj. He left in 96. Long. You were there, Goloka?
Yeah.
He used to say, I mean, of course, he's totally unique in and of himself, He used to say that even as a Jivan Mukta, you might fall down. Because due to aparadha. You are liberated. You are nirgun. You are practically not yet, but almost getting into Swarup Siddhi. Siddha Deha. But again, be careful. You may fall down to aparadha. Gogovind Maharaj used to say that. Because you're still within the body. You're still in this world. Yes.
Is Bharat Maharaj was a Jivan Mukta? No, he was just a practicing.
Bharat Maharaj, no, Bharat Maharaj was on the level of Bhav Bhakti. Yeah?
Bhav Bhakti.
And very interesting, Maharaj Bharat, he had attained this level by dint of worshipping demigods. But be careful, demigods as subservient to Lord Krishna. He was considering demigods as portions. They are basically placed within the Virat. They occupy their specific positions and services within the Virat. And he understood behind it all is Lord Krishna. So he was not into demigod worship. But he got on the level of Bhav. And still, remember the story? He became enamored with a little deer, little doe. Of course, 2-3 one life as a doe, as a deer, then next life Jad Bharat, then went back. So,
So when you come to the platform of Bhav, there's still chance to fall down.
Yeah. Unless and until you are reinstated in your Swarup Siddhi, your Siddha Deha, your spiritual body. And it's mentioned there that you get a Ladini Shakti, a few drops of Ladini Shakti as bestowed by Srimati Radharani herself. Then only you can start really love Krishna, because you have been endowed, you have been reinstated as in your Svarup Siddhi. Then you can.
What is our chance?
Sorry?
What is the chance for us? Like we are
No,
far away.
No. We may take. I mean, at least for me, it'll take a little while for sure. But you know the story in Vrindavan. You know the story. Very funny story. My guru told us. He was there. There's one devotee. Is like, because same old problem. Even in those days, devotees used to mingle with Babaji and stuff in Radha Kund. Nothing new, even at the time of Prabhupada. Prabhupada was adamant, don't go. Be faithful. But still they sneaked out. So one way or the other, that devotee got into the spirit that I'm a peacock, I'm a mayur in the spiritual world. This is my ontological position. This is my svarup. And devotees can hear through the door. Is imitating the mayur. Can you imagine? So devotees are teasing him, what the hell are you doing? Well, I'm a mayur, don't you know? I'm practicing. So then, one class, evening class, Vrindavan, that devotee, he ventured to ask Srila Prabhupada, can you imagine? Very technical question. What is the Siddha Pranali? What is my Siddha Pranali? Srila Prabhupada. My guru was there. Prabhupada was so enraged, his lower lip would quiver like this. When my guru was angry, I remember he was Bengali himself, his lower lip would quiver. Not the upper, the lower quiver, due to rage. I've seen my guru also like that. When he was so angry, he wouldn't even speak. Just the lower lip is quivering. Prabhupada was so much enraged. He could not even answer for 2-3 minutes. And he goes, you Siddha Pranali, you rascal, you Siddha Pranali, he could not even finish the sentence. He was enraged. After 2-3 minutes, he calmed down. And he goes, in due course of time, your guru will tell you. Meaning, his guru was Srila Prabhupada. But he said, your guru will tell you. So we shouldn't be thinking, well, it's out of reach. You will see in Upadeshamrit, at the end of Upadeshamrit, Goloka, that the great devotees, they have two bodies, Siddha Deha and Sadaka, what do you call it? Siddha Deha and the Sadaka Deha. So they just like Raghunath Das Goswami. He got, an indigestion. I told you the story. He's drinking every other day. What do you call it? He's drinking
the water from the rice or something.
It's called in French babeur. I don't know how you say in English. It's like, what you get when you make paneer. That water, the whey. He's drinking that, and he got indigestion. Okay, to make a long story short, in his Siddha Deha, he went to Golok and reveling in pastimes of love with the divine couple and gopis, and he had a feast, and he had indigestion. And back down to Vrindavan, 16th century, well, Kaviraj is coming, he has a indigestion. Everyone is laughing. He is an austere person in this Sadaka Deha. But physician is adamant, yes, he's got indigestion. And finally, they asked him in private, what happened? Well, he explained very humbly, sorry. So, at a very high level, Raganuga Bhakti, Bhav Bhakti will get two bodies. So you will get two bodies. One body you go back to Golok, or whichever where is your Ishtadev, and then you in your Siddha Deha, transcendental body, and then you carry on your service to show the example to Vedi Bhaktas. Even though you may be yourself Vaganuga, spontaneous on the level of spontaneous love, spontaneous attraction, Rati, Bhav. Don't think it's out of reach. What's the difficulty is reach out the other side after anartha nivritti. That's long. Sadhguru Das Maharaj used to say it's like a desert. You're traversing a desert. And you read Madhurya Kadambini, the 6 symptoms of Anishtita Bhakti, and you can see very vividly where you at in that, within those 6. You read, do you know Madhurya Kadambini?
Yeah.
I read it. There's 6 symptoms of Anishtita Bhakti. You can see yourself. They are what do you call it? Incremental. So you can see yourself. Oh, yes, I can recognize I'm here. So then once you're beyond that, you are level of Nishta. Nishta means, of course, Nishta is very wide. Nishta goes practically all the way to, then Ruchi, Ashakti is very wide. Nishta means you're a good madhyam. You're a very good madhyam. There's no more ups and downs, So that itself, from there it becomes easy. But easy. Becomes natural because you are fixed in Krishna consciousness. But up to there, it's dodgy. So let's try to finish it off. So where are we?
29.
Yeah, we covered 28. Okay, 29. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I envy no one. I am partial to anyone. No.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah,
yours?
that's correct. You can go, Mom.
I am equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him.
Yeah. So this verse, very important verse, Srila Prabhupada quoted it a lot. There's 2 portions in this verse. Can you see for yourself? This verse is divided in 2. 2 first lines, 2 last lines. Can you speak about that, if you know? When you say Samoham Savabhuteshu Named Veshustin Prayaha, we are referring to whom here?
To everyone equal, on an equal level.
Yes, but when it comes to identity of the Lord here, we are referring to which portion of the Lord?
Impartiality.
Yes, impartiality, but which portion, which amsh are we referring to here?
Right.
Sorry?
Right. I know. Right handers. I don't know.
Super soul, right? We are referring to super soul aspect here. Udasinavat. Udasinavat means like a judge. Though seated, I'm impartially, just like a high court judge, impartial. Just like 1323. Anumantacha Bhata Bhukta Mahesh Varaha. I consent, I witness, I supervise. This is super soul, isn't it? Samoham. But then, we are talking about whom here? Who is speaking?
One.
Bhagwan, exactly. Just like, remember, 9th canto, Sadavur Hridayam Maham Sadunam Hridayam Twaham. Durvasa Muni is going back there. Please save me, my Lord. Sure, Christ chasing me. Then, Sadavur Hridayam Maham Sadunam Hridayam Twaham. In my heart, my dear Durvasa Muni, only my pure devotee. In their hearts, only me. Aham Bhakta Paradino. Yasvantatra Dvija. I'm not independent, my dear Durvasa. I'm dependent on the will of my pure devotees. And even I'm sold out to the devotees of my devotees. So here we have to distinguish very neatly. First 2 lines, Paramatma, 2 last lines, Bhagwan. So now this is a very important verse. is Lord Krishna partial or not? That's extremely pertinent theological application here. You want to write a verse on theological, an essay on theological application, this is the verse. By definition. This is the perfect verse. This is very updated, extremely pertinent nowadays type of discussion. Is God partial or not? That's still relevant today, isn't it? Big discussion. This is the verse. So now I'm asking you the question. I wrote partiality of the Lord or not in 29. So what is your answer?
We said he's partial in the sense that, you know, he's attracted only to pure devotional service of his devotees.
Yes.
You know, and but he's not partial. He is also, you know, give everybody their own free will.
Yes.
To act as they want, and you know, just like the I don't know, I forgot, like what did I write here?
Yeah, you answered properly.
Yeah. But one and we say that the Lord bestows his mercy to all living entity as nobody's enemies, nobody's friend. Just like the king, the government, nobody's enemy and nobody's friends. You know, one acts, he get result. Has he get result? He's impartial in this way.
Yeah, so, okay, I got you.
Mm.
Sri Prabhupada did say, I think it's in the purport, it's perhaps elsewhere, but he says, you know, if you take care of kids and you have within that group of kids, you have your own kids, automatically it's natural. You're going to give, I mean, perhaps on a very subtle plane, but you're going to give special attention to your kids within the group of kids. You follow? So how would you answer Vignesh?
Like, has he told, like, Krishna was speaking as a Paramatma, and then he's speaking as a Bhagwan. Now, as a Bhagwan, he's a person. He has a personality. He has a free will.
Yeah.
So in that sense, it's not about being partial or impartial. It's about being reciprocal. It's about reciprocity. Like Krishna explains in 4.11 that etamam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamyaham. So has one surrendered to me, I reciprocate accordingly. So because he is a person, so he will reciprocate accordingly based on our intent. If you show our intent to come to him, he will also show his intent to come to us and take us back. So in that sense, as a Bhagwan, it's not about being partial, being impartial is like a kind of defect. Or partiality is not a defect. It's like ornament of the Lord, because he's a person, he has a free will. So otherwise, if he is completely impartial, just like then there is no difference between a stone and a God.
Yeah.
So
this is a good answer, Goloka. And I'm going to quote Mother Kunti. You know that verse, Vignesh? Vishascha yasmin vishamamriti matir nrinam. Sorry. She's saying your leelas, your pastimes are bewildering. Vidambanam. You have no specific object of envy, of favor even, no of envy. People only imagine you are partial. Vishama matir nrinam. It's a conception of the people, not yours, my Lord. That is his nephew, her nephew. Then, very interesting purport. Have you read it? Very interesting. Prabhupada goes, I mean, in the sense, to what Vignesh is saying, let's take some portion of that purport to shed some light. So first of all, he's saying here, mayite, and there is reciprocity. In other words, we cannot deny, like he said, God is a person. There's a transcendental reciprocation between the Lord and his devotee, especially a conscious devotee, a Krishna conscious devotee. He cannot obviously treat the same with those who are not in Krishna unconscious. They are Krishna unconscious. Practically saying, for them, Krishna doesn't exist. So how do you want him to behave the same? 1323, Upadarashta Numandacha, Bhatta Bhakta Maheshwaraha. Yes, obviously, I supervise, I consent. But a pure devotee, Mayite, Teshu, then is a diamond. The Lord is a diamond, devotee becomes a golden ring. A beautiful analogy in the purport. So when we say it's partial, actually it's a manifestation of his Lord, of the Lord's special Kripa Shakti, to the devotees. Lord has Parasha Shakti Vivideva Shruyate. He's got so many Shakti. Isha Shakti, Sankalpa Shakti, Kripa Shakti, Satya Sankalpa Shakti, Viroda Banjika Shakti, unlimited Shaktis. So here, what happened is there is Kripa Shakti, manifestation of Kripa Shakti on that devotees. You follow? So let's hear Mother Kunti. Remember, she's the auntie of Lord Krishna. She knows. She knows. She goes, of course, Prabhupada corroborates because he's going to discuss 1.8.29. The Lord's mercy upon the fallen souls is equally distributed. He has no one as the specific object of worship, of hostility, The very conception of the person regarded as a human being is misleading. His pastimes appear to be exactly like a human being, Narahari, Narakrita. But actually, they are transcendental and without a tinge of material contamination. He is undoubtedly known as partial to his pure devotees, but in fact, is never partial. See, Prabhupada appears to contradict himself here. As much as the sun is never partial to anyone. By utilizing the sun rays, sometimes even the stones become valuable. Whereas a blind man cannot see the sun, although there are enough sun rays before him, just like the owl. Darkness and light are two opposite conceptions, but this doesn't mean that the sun is partial in distributing its rays. The sun rays are open to everyone, but the capacities of the receptacles differ. Foolish people think that devotional service is flattering the Lord to get special mercy. Factually, the pure devotees who are engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord are not a mercantile community. A mercantile house renders service to someone in exchange for values. The pure devotee does not render service unto the Lord for such exchange. And therefore, the full mercy of the Lord is open for him. You follow? Suffering and needy men, inquisitive persons, or philosophers, we discussed 716, those, make temporary connections with the Lord to serve a particular purpose. When the purpose is served, there's no more relation with the Lord. A suffering man, if he's pious at all, prays to the Lord for his recovery. But as soon as the recovery is over, in most cases, the suffering man no longer cares to keep any connection with the Lord. The mercy of the Lord is open for him, but is reluctant to receive it. That's the difference between a pure devotee and a mixed devotee. In other words, it's on the part of the receiver. It's not on the part of the Lord. Those who are completely against the service of the Lord are considered to be in abject darkness. Those who ask for the Lord's favor only at the time of necessity are partial recipients of the mercy of the Lord. And those who are 100% engaged in the service of the Lord are full recipients of his mercy. Such partiality in receiving the Lord's mercy is relative to the recipient. It is not due to the partiality of the whole merciful Lord. Finished. You follow? So you see the greatness of Srila Prabhupada, how he reconciles everything. 1:829. It's on the honors of the recipient. Very interesting, yeah? This is the vision of the pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada. Okay. So, and then another quote in this regard in 529. The Lord is not partial toward anyone. Everything depends on one's practical performance of duties in Krishna consciousness. See? Everything depends on one's practical performance of duties in Krishna consciousness, which in every respect helps one control the senses and conquer the influence of desire and anger. One who stands fast in Krishna consciousness, controlling the above-mentioned passions, remains factually in the transcendental stage or Brahma Nirvana. So in other words, if you don't practice properly Krishna consciousness, obviously, just like we discussed in 1:829, you cannot expect full mercy. You're gonna get mercy, but partial mercy. Nothing to do with the Lord. Why this devotee next to you, you know him for 10 years, is getting more mercy, is rapidly advancing. Perhaps he's taking more shelter than you. Just like if you take a shower and you put only the right arm and the right leg under the water, you cannot blame the shower for not making you wet. You yourself don't go under the shower fully. Who is at fault? Just like they told, sometimes they were telling Srila Prabhupada, oh, you're giving so much mercy to Tamal. Meaning Tamal Krishna Maharaj. You know that story, Goloka? You're giving so much mercy to Tamal. What is Prabhupada saying?
He's very surrendered. Yeah.
Prabhupada said he's asking for it all the time. Then Prabhupada gives an example. He said, if you throw bread to the ducks, you have been throwing bread to the ducks, they all gather. But one or two will gather even more. They are very eager. You tend to yourself giving partially. But there's one duck. He's craving for it. He's like making a lot of noise and he's up front. You tend automatically, naturally to give to him more. So Prabhupada said, Tamal is like that. Beautiful answer. So we cannot blame the Lord. Okay, 30.
Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination.
Yeah, but such an important verse. Whew. These verses are so loaded. So what does it mean? Did I ask a question on this one? This is loaded questions here. 30. What are the two types of activities mentioned in 30? Where else did we see that? Yes. So it's a lengthy purport. So please explain. There's two types of Svadharma here. I'm not going to speak all the time. You guys speak a little bit.
Yeah, like there are two types of Swadharma. Like one is, Prabhupada mentions, it is conditional activity.
Yeah.
I use the word as aparadharma for that.
Yeah.
And constitutional activities, which could be has Swarup Dharma or Paradharma.
Yeah.
So like Varnashrama Dharma could be one of the type of conditional activities, which normally we do as a part of responsibility in this material world, prescribed duties. And Paradharma is something which which overrides every other duty. Like it's like directly serving Krishna, giving pleasure to Krishna for the sake of giving pleasure to Krishna, nothing else. So
Navanga Bhakti, yeah.
Yeah, so that is like Paradharma. That will override all other activities that we are doing right now in a conditioned as a conditioned soul. So
Exactly.
one of the, you mentioned where else did you see? I'm not sure exactly where in a different book, but he mentioned in 2.31. Prabhupada mentioned in 2.31.
Very good.
About these two types of dharma.
Very good. That's there. That's also true. I was referring to Sri Show. Which verse is going to quote back to Thakur in
17.
Wow, first class, Goloka. 17. Look at 17 Sri Show. It's there. It's basically echoing 930. So he's quoting back to Thakur Bhajan, Krishna Samhita, I think. And basically, we have, it's mentioned the two tracks, the two rails of the same track: constitutional duties, conditional duties, constitutional duties. They should be parallel, especially in the Grihastha Ashram. We have no choice. But Bhakti Thakur explained that as soon as there is, in the beginning, because we are still, trying to go through an alternativity, and we're going through turmoils in our spiritual life because we're not fixed up as yet, there tend to be deficiencies, especially when it comes to constitutional duties. We tend sometimes to neglect them, and we are more attached to conditional duties sometimes. And they even be, Prabhupada and Bhakti Thakur explained, they may even fall down on the way, and we have to get up and carry on. But as soon as we find the breaking point that we can now work on those two rails parallel in a parallel manner, in an equipoise manner, we find the equilibrium, then it's going to be going smoothly. But we have to make sure that gradually, with age and with going through life and children are growing, we have to intensify the constitutional duties, Navanga Bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasivanam. And then gradually, Bhakti Thakur explained, gradually all these fall downs and all these deficiencies, idiosyncrasies, whatever you want to call them, they will tend to disappear. They will tend to disappear. The difficulty is when if we, especially in the neophyte stage, we tend to neglect so much the constitutional duties, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, that it may derail. Like obviously, if one train is not running on two tracks, on two rails, it's going to derail. So that's why sometimes we have been stressing so much on the conditional duties, and we are doing them, but sometimes due to negligence of the constitutional duties, we fall into Maya. And then that may lead to divorce and stuff. That's another reason why when we marry, we have to make sure that the partner we are envisaging for life is on the same track. Does he have the same long-term goal? Because let's say he's more attached to conditional duties, prescribed duties, and you can see for yourself he's not so attached to constitutional duties, then you may end up into difficulty yourself, because you yourself are attached to Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, and the other not so much. He's very much attached to running the house properly and money and this and that. But Krishna consciousness, it's called Gona Bhuta Bhakti. And the other is Pradana Bhuta Bhakti. Where are you putting Bhakti on your burners? Is it front burner? Is it back burner? We're not talking about Kevala Bhakti here. Some devotees put Bhakti in the forefront. Some devotees put Bhakti in the back front, in the front and on the back burner. You follow? So automatically, 930 explained that automatically, if you are neglectful of the constitutional duties, it may lead to unpredicted, of course, unplanned fall down. Then if it's unplanned, okay, well and good. Krishna will definitely, if you carry on serving Krishna, just like it's mentioned here, Bhajate Mamananya Bhak, you carry on Bhajan, Ananya. Sadhureva, he remains a sadhu, Arjun. He remains. Arjun doesn't agree here. You will see. And it's corroborated in the 11th canto, by the way, talking about the psychology of a sadhaka. What is that verse? You should know that verse is back to back. 11, 20, 27, 28. It tells about the psychology of a Vedi sadhaka. That is us. Jato shrado matkatashu. Nirvinna savakamasu. If you have awakened faith for Matkata, my Krishna Kata, first of all, did you awaken faith for Krishna Kata? But then, Nirvinna Savakamasu, you are disgusted with all other types of activities, but Veda Dukat Makam Kaman, Parityaga, Pyanishvaraha. But in the process of renouncing Parityage, those worldly activities, you don't want them, you are disgusted. But in the process of renouncing, sometimes you become anishvaraha, you become unable to renounce them. See? You become unable to renounce them, and even you fall down. It's mentioned right there in the verse 11, 20, 27. Look it up. You are disgusted. You are into Krishna Kata even. You know sense gratification leads to no good. But at times you tend to succumb. What does Krishna tells Uddhav? Very interesting verse. Tato bhajeta mam prita shadalu drida nischayaha. Means you should remain happy. You should remain happy and carry on worshiping me with great faith and conviction. Sometimes Krishna says, even though he's sometimes engaged in sense enjoyment, he understands, the devotee understands, Jushamanash, he engaged, Jushamanash tan kaman, but duk, udaka means it's leading to duk. He knows, I'm going to suffer. And garayan means he repents. So it leads to miserable result, but sometimes he succumbs. But he sincerely repents. So this is 930. This is the psychology of a sadhaka. Now, we should not fall on the other side, thinking, well, it's great. It's a great verse. I can do nonsense all day. And, oh, I'm just disgusted with Maya, but, I succumb. Oh, be careful. What is the breaking point here? Prabhupada says in 930, what is it? If it is unpremeditated, if it is occasional fall downs, if you make it a habit, then you're a rascal. You're not a good devotee. You are some type of a prakrita bhakta, basically. You understand? Vignesh, you okay?
Yes.
Now you have to understand the psychology of a sadhaka. That's explained in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. We'll discuss at length. That verse is important. Jato Shrade, Jatat Shrado Matkatasu. Very important verse. The psychology of a sadhaka bhakti is there, as given by Lord Krishna to Uddhav. Nirvinna Savakamishu. Very important verse. But then Krishna is full of hope for us. 931. What does he say?
You can read 2 verses. I read 2 verses.
Sorry?
Yeah. Okay. He quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes.
Yes. So see, Shavas Shantim Sarvashantim, he becomes purified. Of course, he becomes purified because just like that verse 11, 20, 27, he becomes condemned. He condemns himself because sometimes he falls down. He becomes repent. Galayan has to be there. Galayan means repentance. And he considers himself like the black duck. You know, I'm a black duck. I have no hope. But still, I will never give up Krishna consciousness. Still, I will never give up. Even if I go to hell. So this is the state of affair. And he wants to redeem himself. He's not giving up. 231, remember? Don't fall into hopelessness, despair. Don't become morose. This is how to treat a fallen devotee. Oh, he has fallen. He's finished. He's a rascal. No, you'll have difficulty yourself. Be very careful. No, you should carry on. You fall on. Sorry?
Don't give up.
Don't give up. You fall down, you get up 1,001 times. You get up, you carry on. I cannot make it, doesn't matter. Krishna will help you. Carry on, carry on, carry on. So the question we could ask ourselves in 31, why Krishna asked Arjuna to declare it?
So, that I get is that sometimes Krishna break his promise. So
Yes.
that's what Prabhupada explained in the,
Yeah.
in the VCDs.
We see that in Mahabharata, right? Between Bhishma,
Mahabharata,
Arjuna.
Bhishma.
Remember those 5 arrows, Vignesh?
Yeah.
Huh? You guys know Mahabharata.
He said,
Yes, go ahead.
what I got is that for Bhishma, he said he's not going to use any weapon in the battlefield. Then when Bhishma, Pitama, tried to attack Arjuna, he defended him and take the wheel of the chariot, tried to.
Yeah,
to
because
fight.
what happened is Duryodhana had picked his pride the day before. Oh, I can see, as I know you're showing a lot of favor to those 5 Pandavas. They are your favorite disciples, favorite. It's true. Bhishma as a soft corner for the Pandavas, Drone also, no doubts, everyone knows. So then Bhishma got picked in his honor. No, tomorrow you will see. And then Duryodhana was keeping 5 arrows, right? Vignesh?
Yeah.
He was keeping 5 arrows, and then Bhishma, what happened actually? I'm getting confused here. Duryodhana gave the arrows to Bhishma. And Krishna, remember, he told Arjuna, go and get the arrows from Duryodhana that night. He went.
Yeah.
How does it go?
I think he asked for that, no? I think earlier Arjuna requested that at the right time I will ask you for that 5 arrows. So at that time he comes in the place of Duryodhana and asks for that before the war.
Yeah. So in other words, yes, those 5 arrows were meant to kill the Pandavas. And then Duryodhana was keeping them, and Krishna is Antayami. Please, Arjuna, you go tonight and fetch those 5 arrows. And after the battle, they treat themselves like friends. They eat together. They have dinner together. Arjuna asked Duryodhana, please give me those 5 arrows. What do you want? You want the kingdom without fighting? Yes, I'll give you. No, just those 5 arrows. And out of honor, Duryodhana gave. Right? But the next day, even though he had no 5 arrows, Bhishma fought so violently, he was going to kill Arjuna, actually. This is exactly what happened. Bhishma is so, actually Prabhupada said, even Bhim is a fig compared to Bhishma. They are little boys and girls. They have no chance. Bhishma is the greatest fighter. He never lost a battle. Thousands of battles, he never lost once. Everyone is a little boy. So, and Duryodhana gave the arrows. Next day, he fought so violently, he forced Lord Krishna to step down and take a will. He was going to kill Bhishma. And Bhishma was waiting for it. Yes, my lord, go ahead. And then the conch blew. And of course, to retain Krishna to do that, because Arjuna wanted Krishna to keep his vow. This is amazing. Pure devotee wants to protect Krishna also. It's both ways. Then the conch blew. Remember? So it's a very intricate situation. Bhishma is forcing Krishna to intervene. Arjuna is forcing Krishna not to intervene. You follow? Mm-hmm. And they're both pure devotees. So this is how it goes. It's very interesting, beautiful section actually. So the only continuation, the only state of affair for a fallen devotee is the only prayaschit, I would say, expiation, atonement, is carry on your Krishna consciousness. As simple as that. 32.
Woman.
Yeah, same old story, huh? Kalo Shudra Sambhava, contrary, we're all Shudras in this age.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Guluka.
Okay. 30. O son of Prita, those who take shelter in me, though they be lower birth, women, Vaishya, merchants, as well as Sudras, workers, can approach the supreme destination.
Yeah. So yes, you're right. As a woman, you may say, well, women may find objection here, but we have to understand Kalo Shudra Sambhava. In this Kali Yuga, everyone is a Shudra to start with. Men and women alike. We are all in the same boat. We are born in the gutter of material existence. Perhaps not Vignesh, but at least I am.
I'm much more than you. I don't know about you.
So 32 is usually a woman should be given protection. We know that, but we say, well, they can't be elevated. No. Prabhupada said, ideally, actually, even in the early days, Prabhupada didn't want even to give initiation. There's no need for it. As soon as you are married, the woman will partake 50% of the spiritual advancement of the husband. You know that, 50%. Even without
whom you're married.
Of course. But you have to make sure as a lady, you don't marry any Tom, Dick, and Harry. You have to make sure. That's why you need Krishna consciousness. You have to make sure the guy is okay. You know? Oh, he's so good looking, and oh, look at him. Look at his smile.
Yeah, but there's many cases, a person, when you get married, they were very Krishna conscious, and after some time they fell down.
Yes, very good point. Very, very good point. There's one Mataji I remember in the GBC meeting. The issue was that, the same issue, long back, the issue was how to deal with fallen devotees. And, you know, the man was speaking, blah, 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 this, that. We should be heavy. No, we should not be heavy. Then finally they came down on 231. So 231 was the verse retained by GBC, how to deal with devotees in difficulty. Then one lady spoke. Very advanced Mataji, and she explained a story, and then everyone kept quiet. Because they could see she's got the upper hand here. She explained. She said, look, I've been married for a long, long time. My husband was extremely Krishna conscious. Then he became extremely fallen. I could have hundreds of times found reason to leave him. By the way, Pishima, the sister of Prabhupada, was cooking meat for the husband, take shower, then cook for Krishna. Prabhupada is saying, this is Paka. She never left the husband. She could have left the husband, many times, even on the basis of Shastra. So to go back to that lady in the GBC, she said, I could have left my husband. Now he's back to the very good level of Krishna consciousness. And he, actually, I don't want to mention names, he has, lofty responsibilities. So she, through thick and thin, she helped him out. She could have left him, no doubt. And then when she spoke, that lady, when she spoke, everyone, yes, they say, yes, Mataji, definitely. You have the final conclusion. We got you.
Well, yeah, it's good to stay. But what if the husband himself left and went for somebody else?
Then is a rascal. We're gonna be accountable. You're gonna be. See, it's like the restaurant. You don't want that plate? Okay, the waiter will serve the same plate, presented differently. So that guy who left the good wife for a little girl, young girl, then next life, even in this very life, Krishna is going to show him. And next life, he didn't pass the test. Next life, he may be born as a woman, by the way. And again, even if as a man, he's going to have to present the same test, presented differently, just like a meal presented differently to you. We have to pass the test. It doesn't mean your husband left you that you, okay, it's tough, I agree. It could be a woman, it could be your wife is leaving you also. It doesn't mean we should give up Krishna consciousness. It's easy to say, I know. But
it depends on situation and circumstances for each individual.
Yeah.
We cannot put the practice on Pishima or somebody, this lady saying.
Pishima is very lofty lady. She's a sister of Prabhupada. How can you equate yourself? Yeah, definitely. But this lady in the GBC, she talked, and then everyone listened because, she stuck it out through thick and thin, So it goes to her glory, and she saved the guy basically. So
yeah, sometimes some person doesn't want to be saved.
Oh yeah, that's also true. I fully agree. But
keep repeating the same thing again and again.
Yeah. We have the case in France, very senior, practically the most senior lady in France in this country. She made, can you imagine? She made Subhag Maharaj join. How senior she is. Subhag Maharaj,
I heard of him, yeah.
She made him join in UK. She joined way, way back. Very fixed up. And her husband was extremely Christian. He built ISKCON Durban in South Africa. Beautiful. He was an architect. Then he fell down badly, boozing and all, practically to the extent of on the verge of death. She stuck it out decades at the fag end. Now she's quite old. She left him. She said, look, I have to carry on my spiritual life. At least I have to finish properly. They have the daughter and granddaughter and stuff. She tried for decades. And now she's, she must be 75 plus. And, she wants to finish, obviously, preaching and traveling. And she's very, very, very senior. She's called everywhere. Practically, she's the most senior in France. Senior most. But, I know she's for decades, for 40, 50 years, she's stuck it out. So at the end, you have to also finish off, on a good note. She tried. Krishna knows how much she tried, So it's like that. 33. Let's finish it off because I've been dragging on today. Sorry about that. Let's 2 verses to go.
Okay. How much greater is the Brahmana, the righteous devotees, and a saintly king who is in the temporary miserable world engaged in loving service unto him?
Yeah, if already 32 can make it, can attain a supreme destination, what to speak of 33? If you are well situated. And see, Anityam Asukam Lokam, this is not a place for gentlemen. Anityam Asukam Lokam, it's a terrible place. 34. This is the Gita Rahasya verse. Most important verse, practically. Go ahead.
Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely will come to me.
Yeah. So where is that verse repeated?
18th chapter.
1865. Yeah. Most confidential knowledge. Twice. Gita, essence of the Vedas, right? Middle chapters, essence of the Gita. Chapter 9 and 10, essence of the middle chapters. 934, essence of 9 and 10. So this is the cream of the cream of the cream of the cream de la creme. This verse is there. Manmana, 4 instructions. Manmana, 1, the mind, offer the mind. Bhava, mad bhakto, become my devotee. Mamyaji, worship me. Nam namaskuru. It's not rocket science. Mame veshyasi udvena. You will come. Future. You will come. Future. Atmanam matparayanam. This is not rocket science, those 4 activities. What does it say? You have to give very good Bhagavatam class. You have to be Paka Pujari. You try your best, but all 647, always engage your mind in me. So this is not a Vidipurvakam, this is Vidipurvak. This is the Vidipurvak. This is Priti Purvak, basically. The demigods, worshippers are fooling themselves. Avidi Purvak. This is Vidipurvak. So when you are talking about demigod worshippers, this is the counter verse you have to tell them. This is, you want to do Vidi, this is Vidi. You can tell a story about the Brahmins in the Krishna book, the wives, Krishna is hungry, oh no, we are busy, please. The wives of the Brahmins, remember?
Yeah.
They bend themselves backwards. Please, my boys, take prasad. Who is more advanced? And then the Brahmin, the husband later, oh, we made a fool of ourselves. Our wives are much more advanced. We blew it badly. So we're talking about Gita Rahasya. It's pure love here. But again, practical engagements, nothing so fancy actually. And from those 4 limbs, the whole Navanga Bhakti expands, basically. All the methods of devotional service are there. Prahlad Maharaj is saying, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam, Mad Bhakta Mamyaji, everything is there. You're doing printing, you're doing, it's all expansion. You're doing printing books, you're doing lay editing, you're doing, what do you call it, proofreading. This is also part of Krishna consciousness. But again, we should be respectful to others practicing. Otherwise, if you take bhakti, but without respect, then it's not bhakti anymore. That's why we should not find fault with others. That's not our business. We should remember the verse 3. It's mentioned twice in the Gita, 1847, 335. Better you do your duty properly than better someone else's, apparently. No, you stick to your duty. You respect others. Then your life will be successful. Try your best. Archanam, you don't say no. Can you do some arati? Yes, no problem. So this is the verse. And of course, when we say Krishna here, we're not talking about some kind of incarnation of Godhead. This is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's not a partial expansion. This is the final Gita Rahasya coming from God himself. This is important. So I don't want to hold you back. I'm 15 minutes late. I'm sorry.
So what did you call that verse? Like you mentioned, what 34 is called? Is there a name like you have?
Gita Rahasya. This is Gita Rahasya.
This is what the verse. Okay.
This is Gita Rahasya, no doubt. There's Gita Sar, 1866. Gita Rahasya. This is 18 Rahasya, Gita Rahasya here. Repeated twice, so much it is important.
Mm.
Yeah, so we are basically at the pinnacle of Bhagavad-gita here. This is
50%, I think we completed today.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yes,
purifying. Just we don't sing when you sing these 2 hours. Our mind just didn't go anywhere. Just on this, it's really
yeah,
nice.
this is. If we could do that all life, then we go back to Krishna straight in
Krishna,
a straight line, in a straight
no,
line.
we're not singing or anything else. Just
I mean,
everything.
basically, that's what it takes. Huh?
Krishna. Always
Yeah.
think of me.
All the thing, that's what we're doing. My Baba become a devotee. Mamyaji, we offer obeisances, namaskuru, yes, worship, do some puja. I've got my deities trying. You know, it's like that. You know, it's not rocket science in one sense. You know, that verse. But of course, it should be pretty purvakam, vidhi purvakam. We are doing it properly, but put pretty. And of course, Sadvidam pretty, what is the verse? Sadvidam pretty. We should give, we should give pretty to the devotees. You go, well, I love Krishna, but devotees, you know. No, it starts with devotees. This is the reality. Krishna is looking, oh, how are you treating my devotees? Let's see. How are you treating your wife? How are you treating your kid? Well, you know, it's my wife, she's not so great. She's a devotee. So how are you treating her? This is the test is there. The test is in the pudding. I love Krishna so much. How are you treating your god brothers, your god sisters, your wife? Because you know that wife she's a devotee also. How you find fault with her? It's easy. It's not easy. This is not easy for me at least. You know, we have to see.
Actually, it's very easy to like give some lofty ideals for the devotees who are not there right now. Like we often may appreciate about acharyas in the past, like but then especially when it comes to like contemporary or god brothers, we often try to find fault because we are not very happy in that scenario.
See, it's easy to glorify a pure devotee because, I mean, Rupa Goswami, where do you find fault in Rupa Goswami? Where do you find fault in Srila Prabhupada? Where do you find fault? But when you're dealing with, not mixed, but would be an offense to say mixed, you're dealing with
aspiring
between Kanishta and Madhyam, you know, like Kanishta Madhyam, Kanishta Uttam, or Madhyam Kanishta, let's say. You know, like me and Operas, my wife, then it's tough because you see the discrepancies, and you tend to focus so much. You enlarge them, but you don't see the good side. She could have left me. I could have left her. No, we remain together for the sake of the kid. You know, for this sake, and I have to see the good side. She's trying her best. I'm trying my best. So let's encourage each other. Why should we be nasty? Why do you want to bring another layer of negativity? Already it's tough. Life is tough already. Why do you want to make it worse? You're dealing with a devotee. Can you imagine if you had a karmi woman, karmi man? I know so many devotees, some years down the road, they got so much fed up with their own husband or their own wife. They remarried, but they married a non-devotee. When you look at them, it was way worse than those heavy years they had with a devotee partner before, because they suffer like hell.
It is, their heart is still like not being cleansed. Does that mean they're not taking the devotional service seriously, especially the process of chanting that will cleanse the heart? And
Because they become neglectful. You're right.
Yeah.
And you know, they want to see the other side of the barrier. It's the grass is greener. Oh, I'm fed up with my husband. I'm fed up with my wife. And devotees, I'm fed up. You know, it's I got cheated and I lost my time. And better I take like a good guy. And he's a good guy. He's not a devotee, but he's a good guy. And when you interview them 5 years after that marriage, whew, I've been discussing, how was it? They're honest. They said, Prabhu, it's hellish. Because now there's no blending at all. They are not devotee. And you have to compromise on every little thing, the food and stuff. You're dealing with fire. And the kids, the kid is torn apart between the two. You made it worse. You made it worse. Better to stick to the original partner, because he was blessed by Krishna in the first place, by Guru. And you have to, perhaps you need some space on both sides. Yes, okay. You can find some kind of status quo, but life is moving. So better to at least you know each other. You know each other, and you have accomplished some lengths of some advancement together. You have accomplished some. You have done some mileage together down the road. You want to start anew with another guy at 50, at 40, whatever, taking risk. So it's all these things. Let's carry on 934. It's just a matter of how far we're taking shelter of Krishna. And then when you look at your situation, it has a different glow. It has a different outlook altogether, because you've been absorbing yourself in Krishna. And the same situation that before was very gloomy, and you could not even see how to deal with it. Now, because you absorb yourself in Krishna consciousness, then I can actually start to appreciate, actually. Oh yes, actually, I can definitely deal with that. I can bear. It's bearable, and then you start to find a good side. Of course, you have to encourage. What could happen also is she's not practicing so well, or he's not practicing so well. That's the danger. You have to encourage each other. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Babu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Anyway, we have to encourage each other all the time, not only the wife or the kid, everyone, because we're on the same boat. It's very rare to be a devotee, very rare. Hare Krishna. So we'll move on. You tell Chandra to move on into the 10th chapter. I will tell him.
Sure.
Thank you so much. Sorry for being so late today.
Oh, in fact, it was a very nice lecture. I didn't know exactly how much. 2 hours was easily.
It was almost 2 hours, 24 minutes. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'll send you the recording. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Don't forget your essays. We are midway now. 10, 11, 12. We'll finish the second portion of the Gita, second middle. Then 2 essays, don't forget, and your shloks.
Yes,
Hare Krishna.
yeah.